Okay, before you can fill out your timesheet, you need to know what the pay period is. So you go over to the online calendar, go to the calendar here, and you'll see on Sundays there is a timesheets due. And that is the previous timesheet. The previous period has ended on the 2nd, and so they're due here. So that means the next one's starting here. So it will go, this will be, the pay period will be April 3rd until the 16th, at which point the next time will be due on the 17th. So 3 to 16th, April 3 to 16. So then we go over to our Excel. We open up crew timesheet. And you're going to want to save this so that you don't write over the file. So you will go File, Save As opposed to Save. On desktop, and you can write in your name and the pay period. April, what was it, 3rd to 16. Okay. And you can put your name in. And then you can put in the pay period, April 3 to 16. Okay, and so along the top here, you've got each day, Sunday being the 3rd, 4th. I only fill in the ones that I actually worked on, so don't bother filling them in unless you actually work on that date. And so say you came in the morning at 8 a.m. and you worked until 12 noon. And you had a lunch, and you worked from 1 p until, let's say, 5 p. And then you guys came back after lunch and you work from 7 p until 9 p. Okay, and say you actually went longer than your 10-hour day. At Alderney, after you work for 10 hours, you jump to time and a half. So I'd like to break these down so that I have, here's my 4-hour span from 8 to 12, then a 4-hour span from 1 to 5, and then a 2-hour span from 7 to 9. That gives me my 10 hours, and so I like to break them down instead of writing, say I left at midnight or something because it was a long strike. I keep going down here because later on it's helpful in breaking it down for you. So I go 9 p until, let's just say it's 11 p. So it was an easy strike. So it's another 2 hours. So you have worked your 10-hour day plus 2 hours at overtime. And we'll fill that in over here. But first, we'll take our day, which is Sunday. The date is the 3rd. The renter is, let's say, Coastal Dance. We'll skip code and come back to that in a second. And in here, we'll have our 10-hour day at regular. And you just write in 10. And this is where at whatever rate you're at. So if you're a crew chief, then you probably already know how to fill out your timesheet, but you're probably a regular crew. So you'll write in REG. Or if you are a crew chief, you will write in CC, and these will total up at the bottom, but that's what you're writing in. Also, though, on your day, because you kept going, you have 2 hours of overtime. So over here, at time and a half, you will write 2 at reg. And you'll see that down here, now that has totaled up not 12, but 13, because it's calculated for you time and a half. The same thing would happen if you had extra days, if you had extra hours. So say you'd worked, 6 hours. At Alderney, you work 10 hours and you're at straight time. You work another 4 hours at time and a half. So that would be 14 hours you worked. But if you go past that 14, you jump to double time. And that's where, so here you would have to work till 1 a.m. And that would give you 4 hours. So we'll go down and change this to 4. And then it was a slog of a night. And for some reason, you ended up working another hour. So you worked from 1A to 2A. Big day, but that means you have another 1 hour here, 1 at 2 times regular rate. And these have to be exactly REG. Case doesn't matter. They can be uppercase or lowercase, but they need to either be CC or reg. And this will calculate for you. The code thing is this stuff. It's for Laura in the office. She has to be able to allocate a certain percentage of your paycheck to certain accounts. So generally, you're going to put in a T because you worked in the theater. If you also worked, say, at the, I don't know, downstairs there was a market music thing on Tuesday. So say on Tuesday the 5th, you worked market music thing. These are just for me to let me know where to build them. And you would put in that you worked for 4 hours at, let's say you worked at CC. And you'll notice this changes. And so now you have two of these mixed pay rate on your thing, but on your sheet, but this will take care of it. But you would write this up as code Saturday market. You can write it up as M. If you're doing something outside, outdoor event, write in OE. If there's, I don't know, special event, I didn't even know what they were, what to call them, so I called them S1 and S2. But usually you're going to write either T or M. And of course you'll fill out your market thing over here for 4 hours and whatever your time was. So that's it. You do the same thing down here as well. And if this is week 2, so the same thing will happen here until the final date, which would be the 16th. And then down at the bottom, it has calculated up. So there's nothing worked on this week, but on the previous week you had these hours. The total of both weeks is calculated here, and it adds it all up for you, so you don't have to do anything. And by putting in those codes, this helps Laura out, and she knows that this is the percentage that was worked in the theater from your paycheck and how much of your paycheck got allocated to the market. So that's it. Oh, actually, there is one other thing. Say you worked 6 hours straight on this day, and then another 2 hours. So if you worked from 8 a.m. until 2 p.m., it was 6 hours, and then you had a lunch break finally at 3 p.m. or at 2 p.m. So you're going to go from 3 until 5. So on this day, you've encountered a meal penalty because as you work, every 5 hours, you need to be given a 1 hour break. If you aren't given a 1 hour break, at the 5 hour mark, you instantly charge them for an extra hour. Even if they let you go 15 minutes later, you still charge them that meal penalty. That's why it's called a penalty as opposed to overtime. So how you would write that one in is, say this was Eastern Front Theater, and that would be a theater thing. You would write in that you worked 6 hours at, I guess, what do we have? Reg. And then you also have a meal penalty for 1 meal penalty at your rate, regular rate. Okay? And you'll see that all of a sudden your regular rate jumped up here by adding that. And you can also write in, I will often break these up because it makes it easier, 2 at reg. So instead of tallying them up in my head like I did here, you can just, if there's enough room, you can put them in and it'll tally it all up for you. And make sure you put in your code. And this actually shows you something that I did wrong here. I didn't put a code in on this, and down at the bottom, this pops up. It's just a reminder to let you know that you've forgotten one of your codes. So I will come up here and write in T, and when I go down, I hit enter, that's gone. Okay? And then at that point, you just save it and email it to me at bob@alderneylanding.com. Okay, thanks a lot.